Thank you. Thank you for giving us the space here. My name is Chingboi, and I come from a small, beautiful state of Manipur in northeast India. I know that for many of you, Manipur, maybe this is your first time to hear of Manipur, and I regret that you will not be hearing about the beauty of Manipur, but more of how Manipur's beauty of being an archetype of the world's diversity itself being turned into a tragic mayhem in the last few months. I come from a small tribe, Meiteis Zomi, born in a hill district, NAMTA, but I was brought up in the capital city, Imphal, which was my home, my family's home, until May the 3rd. Since May 3rd, the Zomi-Kuki-Hmar Mizo tribes were brutally hunted down by the majoritarian, radicalized Meiteis groups. More than 120 tribal deaths so far confirmed, and there will be more unconfirmed. Over 350 churches and church-related buildings burned. Close to 200 villages burned. Over 50,000 people internally displaced so far. And it is now more and more clear that this violence really is a state-sponsored ethnic cleansing drive against the Zomi tribals and encroaching their tribal lands, which they have been inhabiting since time immemorial. Yes, it is primarily an ethnic cleansing drive, but also the religious dimension cannot at all be overlooked, because in fact the violence started from the burning of their churches itself, before burning of the houses and killing started. And also because in a place like ours, our religion, our faith is to the core of our identity. On the evening of May 3, my elderly and ailing parents, who were awaiting heart procedures, had to hide in the dark outside, along with my brother's families and sisters' families in Imphal, because a large mob were screaming and running and shouting and burning the church just next to our house. But by hook and by crook, they were able to get to an army camp nearby by the morning. And after a week in the army camp, they were transported with tight security to Hill District safely. They were the lucky ones, along with thousands who were transported to Hill Districts. Many tribals who ran for their lives met with angry mobs and were shot or tortured to death or left to die in the streets. On the morning of May 4, Mrs. Goes, a government official, and her son, Mr. Kolal Sang, were beaten to death on their way to army camp to take shelter. The daughter-in-law and her baby barely escaped with severe head injuries. The same morning, Mr. Bumzakin, a government representative, MLA, who was a BJP MLA and also chief advisor to the chief minister, was beaten and left to die on his way back from meeting with the chief minister. His security left him and his driver, who was also a Zomi tribe, to the mob. Luckily, he survived after months in ICU, but his driver didn't make it. He succumbed to his injuries. June 4, a 5-year-old boy and his mom was burned alive in an ambulance when they were on their way to the hospital. Mr. Tonsing, his 5-year-old boy, and his family were taking shelter in an army camp when he was hit by a stray bullet, and the army doctors referred him to a hospital. His father, thinking that his wife, the boy's mother being a Meitei, would be safe if he sent his son with his wife. But he was wrong. They were caught on the way by Meitei mobs and they burned them alive in the ambulance. June 10 early morning, a Kuki-Zomi senior citizen, Mrs. Dim Kohoi, was murdered, was shot to death while she was praying early morning as she always did. She was among the 3 shot dead by Meitei men who attacked the village wearing police uniforms and using military vehicles. July 2, when Langza village was attacked by Meitei mobs, a villager, Mr. David Thiek-Mar, was brutally beheaded. His hands and legs were cut and his body parts were thrown into a burning house. And his chopped off head was mounted on a bamboo fence. And the killers took a video and posted in social media. And there was a voice in the background saying, "This is the face of a Kuki. You look beautiful, huh? We've been trying to catch you people for a long time." And the voice ended with an expletive. July 6, Mr. Meiteis, a Zomi-Kuki woman who was mentally ill and has been wandering in the streets, was fatally shot dead in front of a school in Imphal. That was the day when Imphal was reopening school. The next day, Imphal was reopening schools. July 19, a video surfaced of 2 Kuki-Zomi women who were paraded naked and molested and allegedly gang raped by a mob of Meitei men, young and old, on May 4. It happened on May 4, but the video became viral on July 19. The story had been told of their experience, but nobody listened or nobody wanted to believe until on July 19, when the video of the actual happening of these 2 women paraded naked by a group of men, young and old, molesting in front of everyone. Until this video became viral, nobody listened. The younger brother of one of the women was beaten to death while he was trying to protect his helpless sister. And the husband of the other woman is an Indian Army. He shared his deep remorse, saying his remorse that he could not save his own wife while serving his beloved country, India. And these are just a few of the many, many horrific stories. We were not just killed, but we were hunted, chased away, and slaughtered like animals. We were stripped of our dignities, our bodies treated as inhumanly as possible, and our sacred worship places were not just burned down, but they were defiled and profaned. No one was spared. Children, mentally ill, elderly, government officials, representatives, even a grandmother praying in the church early morning was not spared. Just because they happen to belong to the Zomi-Kuki tribe. And all these atrocities because the Chief Minister Biren government and the radicalized Meitei groups like the Meitei Ipon or the Arambai Tango brand our communities as illegal immigrants, falsely branding us so. But how can we be illegal immigrants in our own land and villages that our forefathers have founded even before the British came? Our grandfathers fought against the British, trying to protect the integrity of India. And the fact is we, the Zomi-Kuki tribes and our tribal lands were never under the Meitei kingship. We were just put under one administration by the British, so to say, for administrative convenience. And in fact, till today, the MP from the tribal is called the MP of Outer Manipur. This violence is not nearing any end. In a TV interview, one of the radicalized group leaders, Mr. Pramod, openly declared that they're going to finish us off, blow us out, the Kuki-Zomi tribes. And a prominent Meitei civil society organization, Kokomi, openly declared war against our tribes. Maybe this is just the beginning of the violence. So my big family of communities of faith here today, diverse in many ways, but united in love as one humanity. I would like to appeal to you as your sister, as your daughter, as your fellow human being, our brothers and sisters in Manipur. India need our help. What can we do? India is a secular state, the largest democracy, and it's not powerless to stop or resolve this issue, hate crime against a very small tribal group like the Zomi-Kuki tribe, a very small section of a small state like Manipur. We appeal you to help us raise your voice to our political leaders in Delhi, who has the power and ability to stop this violence and bring a viable solution and peace and justice. And won't you please also help those on the ground? There's so much need. Medicine, food, just basic human needs, relief materials for the who have lost everything, even the mental strength to go on. My own families are now scattered, trying to restart lives from scratch. And my parents' due heart procedures had to come to a halt. And our youth and children are just spending day and night defending our villages, trying to protect their communities with no certainty when they can go back to education. Thank you for listening and your support.
Thank you so much for, a heartbreaking truth-telling. And I think that's, if you've already picked up on that, if you read the newspaper or you're hearing the news, a lot of this hard stuff isn't making it in. So it could be a surprise to hear the kind of crimes that are happening on a regular basis in places like Manipur. And so this is what we try to do, is shed light on what's really happening and get perspective of both advocates on the ground, but also victims and family members. They can give it to us straight, so we can figure out how to take that information to policymakers and how to make a case for how to change it, how to stop it. Because frankly, a lot of people don't believe this is really happening. And here you're hearing a woman tell a story, and I'm just heartbroken for you. I'm so sorry. And I hope that we will stop looking away, and that maybe the people here in this room can help that. So we can bring this news to people that can actually use it to make a difference.